Okay, so like I said, I'll just jump right to it so we don't, waste much of our time. All right. So after going through your press kit, going through your profile kind of, I must say you have a very
Yeah.
interesting and motivating story. I hope I'm audible enough. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Uh-huh.
Right. So I said after going through your press kit, going through your profile, I say you have a very interesting and motivating story. And given from how you started as a as a youth, and progressed onto your current position now. I want to say, how did you and your husband, Jason, know that you have, such a business potential at a young age? Like, how did you know you had the it factor, as a youth from that? Because from your press kid, it's obvious that you started, from when you were young. So I wanted to know, how did you know that you had it in you to become Miss Charnita Horton? So how did you know?
Well, my husband now, but you have to realize we met in high school. We was high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
So my husband was boyfriend at the time was selling chips, juice, and honey buns around the school. So
Yeah.
he had already had this business mindset, and he'll come in and he'll have a big duffel bag filled with chips, juice, and honey buns selling. And to me, at that moment, at that present time, I just knew I wanted to be great. Did I just have a natural business mind in high school? No, but I seen that he had it. And I used to always speak highly of that because you just don't have that natural instinct to have business mindset in high school. But
Yeah.
I was always a very studious person when it come down to what I put my time and energy in. But I remember he'll sell chips and juice and honey bun. He'll give me $10 to get my hair done, and I kept
Yeah.
collecting the money. By time of the end of the week, I collect like $50, and I go get what. So I realize now that I think about it, I did have that business mindset because I knew I had to save to get what I want. Not saying he gave me money for my hair, but I used to collect it. So by Friday came, I used to go get my hair done. But
Mm.
he was selling. It started very young. We met when we were 17, and we've been together ever since. We only broke up one time for 2 weeks.
Oh, just one time. So
Yeah.
I must say the compatibility brought you guys back together because I mean, it's obvious that you have similar interests and
Yes.
ambition. So progressing from that, you moved on to create SmartX and a couple of other businesses. So I wanted to know, like, how did you was it from that point you knew that you were compatible, like from high school, you knew you were compatible business wise and career wise? Oh, so okay, so that
So it was a beautiful transition for me. Smart Tax was actually developed by his mom. She's been doing taxes for over 30 years, and she's a breast cancer survivor. And she came to me with her dream, and she said, "I want to start a tax company." And I instantly was like, "Let's do it." I always, when it comes down to people and their dreams, and I know that we'll benefit in win-win situations, being that I was already close to my mother and she was at a state, because you got to understand now my mother-in-law is, very in a great state of financial. But at that time, she actually was poor before. We had to actually make sure she stay, get herself together. She lost everything at one point in time, especially after her divorce. So when she came to me with this dream, I was willing to go in with her. And I told my husband about it, and I said, "Hey, I want my percentage, you get your percentage, and she get hers. We can do this
I
thing."
mean, it's business. It's business. The percentage has
Yes,
to
let's
be,
talk. Let's talk business.
yeah, it has to be sorted. That's true. So I can say, or it's safe to say that you have a very, very maybe a cordial relationship with your mother-in-law. Is it safe to say you have a cordial relationship with your
Yes,
mother-in-law? And that was very instrumental to starting up.
yes.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that's nice. So let's go over to, before you started Smart Text and all that. So you got a degree and, let me just say you and your husband had to transition from, corporate America, like from the corporate world. So let me use myself as a case study for this part. So I was an internal auditor, with KPMG, I audit, but I had to, my interest was with writing, media. So I had to kind of like transition. So bringing it back to you, I would say in your case, after you got a degree in business and human resources management, you and your husband decided to leave corporate America. So I wanted to know what motivated you and, what was the faith walk like for you guys?
Okay, so my husband and I, we left our job June 2016. We had already had a conversation at home. We left at the same time. We had already had Smart Tax for 1 year, so we stepped out on complete faith. We only had 6 months of savings when we left. Yes, and you got to realize when I left my job, it was the most chaotic, craziest day of my life. The VP, now I realized that got fired, everything. This is my last day. It was so chaotic. And I'm putting my 2 weeks notice. I had just put it in that morning. He didn't even get to read it. And I'm putting my 2 weeks notice in and he got fired that same day too. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most craziest day ever. But I knew I had to leave. I still walked out like, and I was on the phone with my husband. I was like, this is the most craziest day. And I was on the phone with him. He was like, we're going to do this. And we walked out at the same time, in June 2016. The next morning, we woke up, we was like, what did we do? It was no returning back to work. It was, we was full-time entrepreneurs. What do you mean what we do? We got to get it.
I mean, it's a lot, given that, you had to go through that, but I would say it's nice sometimes to take that faith walk. I mean, that's what entrepreneurship is all about, taking that walk and just believing things will work out. So now bringing it to entrepreneurship and, the family business, your couple of businesses that you run, and it's obvious that, okay, you running the business or starting Smart Tax and involving your mother-in-law shows that you are family oriented, like family centered. And, I got to understand that you even extend this approach to your clients. So approaching your clients with this mindset of, being family oriented, how has it worked out for the business?
Ask that question again.
Oh, okay. I said being family oriented. And extending that approach to your clients, how has it worked out for your business? Because I saw from your press kit that you get to treat your clients like family. So So
I'm very close to my clients. Many people say my clients are very spoiled, but we advertise the fact that we are, all our names are Hortons. So we don't really say, we always say we're a family business, but we treat our employees and ourselves, that's what we advertise, that their comfortability to come to us, great ethics. Miss Joanne been doing this for 30 years. She taught her son a lot of things. Jason taught me how to do taxes. And we show that unity so others can feel comfortable in our unity to come to our company for them to prepare their taxes. So I feel like the family dynamic shows the world, that give them comfortability, that they know that we're operating in great ethics, because dealing with the IRS is something that we all, can be very fearful of. So to have that dynamic, that family ethics, I think that our clients love that.
Okay, so I mean, I would love to patronize a business that treats me like family. I mean, everybody would. So I think it's a very great approach. Now, I would say it seems the Hortons, or you and your husband, have like a secret formula for entrepreneurship. Because I mean, talking about the couple of businesses you run, you're into trucking, you own a boutique, a motivational speech services, and now Charnita's World. But before we get to Charnita's World, that's your upcoming reality TV show. I want to ask, I want to ask, why is entrepreneurship important to you and your family?
I feel like the main thing is all about generational wealth. Seeing me remembering my husband now starting where he was selling chips, juice, and honey buns, and we building this empire corporation. Now we have two buildings, one I'm in now, and then one downtown Alabama. We in real estate investing. We have a tax company, trucking company. My daughter has a suite, a boutique where they in there and they, doing nails and hair. I feel like generational wealth. So entrepreneurship, we're teaching that to our kids. So one day we're not going to be here, but they're going to be able to carry that family entrepreneurship with them. And if they choose to continue it, the wealth stays in the family, but also we are givers and sowers. So it didn't just come from the energy, just us. It was definitely giving back to God and giving back to the community that keeps us blessed. So I think it's grace. So the main thing, entrepreneurship, it connects with the generational wealth with our kids.
Okay, well, that's a very nice idea. That's a very nice, way to go about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this brings us to Charnita's World, your upcoming reality series. So yeah. So
yeah.
given your story, and I would say it's a success story, because I mean your businesses and the way you go about them, and seeing that SmartX is even having like a fourth branch or a fourth outlet in the works. So I think that's really nice. I would like to say I would like to ask. So bringing it down to Charnita's World, what should viewers expect? What do you think viewers should expect?
Man, Charnita's World went way faster than I ever could imagine. I just remember coming to my husband. I was like, I got this vision. I'm okay with being on TV. I'm okay with what people have to say about me. I want my story to go far, and I want this transparency of my world to be televised. And I want to speak to a broader audience. When I remember not even having a Charnita's World website, and me just kind of, going out there doing a couple of photo shoots and building it. And when I got a little farther and I said, I want a reality show, being picked up in 3 days was just absolutely amazing. Like, and to me, like, it goes back to grace. But Charnita's World, I'm speechless myself. I think it's amazing. Yeah, I sometimes I'm speechless. I think to hear people say you're a star, to hear people say you're proud, I'm always a giver and giving back my energy back into other people's careers. So just, it's very cringing when you get so much attention and you got to decipher what's good and what's bad and what's good for your brand. I was like, oh, Lord, I got to get a publicist. I got to get a manager.
That's
it's
true.
Moving.
Yeah, it's a lot. It can be a lot, given that, the more you grow, the more responsibilities, the more you have to do and all that. So I would say delegation is also nice. So this brings me to the next question. So given that, you have a lot to do, how do you personally, or you and your husband, manage your career workload and family? So do you think you get to spend enough time as a family, given all that you have to do and all of the businesses you have to run? Do you think, how do you do it? I mean,
I get this question every day. I get this question. It's not a day I miss this question.
If I meet you tomorrow, I'll still ask you, because I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even have a family yet. I don't even have kids yet, but life is a lot already.
And you're busy.
So talking about you running businesses, and I lost Charnita here. All right.
It was getting good.
Yeah, wait. So I was asking you how you manage the workload, and especially, how, given that you have a lot to manage, your businesses and all that, how do you do it? Because I mean, it's like magic. I don't know. How do you do it?
Work-life balance is so important. Like, I remember last year, we had a tax season that was just crazy, because we serviced almost last year 4,000 people. I make sure we go on vacations. Me and my husband, we make sure we date. We make time for all this stuff. But most importantly, I think self-time is important. But I'm not the wife that cook every day. I have a house manager. I have somebody organizing my home. I have certain things. I can't do it all. So I have a great support. So I can't sit here and tell you I do everything, but I can tell you I'm a good mother, I'm a good wife, and I definitely love to work. I was just telling my husband, when I'm gonna retire, I don't know when what that retirement gonna look like. I just see my retirement still in a way Charnita's world, but more relaxed and fun, But I think we balance it all by having certain things that can accommodate us, house manager, organizer, somebody come clean the home. I don't cook every day. Can I cook? I can throw down.
Of course.
So we have help.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it every day since you have, a help for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I mean, I wonder what it would have been if you didn't have like help, like, if you didn't have to delegate or get, external help.
Delegate, even when it comes down to my company, certain things that I've decided to delegate. We have a driver. Just if God gets you to the point where you can afford it, don't be afraid to spend somebody to come cut your grass. Don't try to go out there and cut your grass and you just had a long day at work. So we definitely delegate tasks out. I mean, just to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. So obviously, I don't know your story, Charnita, you're going far, and I know that, I mean, farther than you can even imagine. And I'm very sure that there are people, especially young couples, that want to emulate your steps and want to be like Charnita. Do you have any advice for such couples or such people?
What I always say, push the button on your dreams. My transparency is definitely for not only couples, women. I remember when I was not submissive to my husband and being married, trying to be this alpha female and putting a lot on me. I realized in this day and time when I realized I didn't have to work so hard mentally and physically, giving him that power and giving that back to him when we did our redo it. It really opened my eyes a lot. I started thinking richer and I started feeling more comfortable. So, those young married couples, it's all about trust and faith in your relationship. And even when it comes down to the single women, I'm always speaking highly and understand I'm not in their position. And I know it's hard. So certain things, even though I did experience it, I always, if I ever have a panel, I always bring people on that platform where I'm speaking to all walks of life. And that's my transparency, because I remember being on the side of the road with a broke down Honda. And, where people think that you had it overnight, no, but I can say we can have it all. That's part of Charnita's word. You can do it. You can have it all. And if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So I wanted to ask you, when we're talking about Charnita's world, I don't think we went in depth enough about Charnita's world. Yeah.
Okay.
So I want you to explain to viewers or your audience again, one more time, sorry, what they are going to expect and how best do you think they can, catch up with Charnita's world? What
Charnita's world, the reality show, they definitely have to tune in, but the reality show is going to be true reality in my life. A lot of things that people didn't realize that I went through as a child to now, it's going to really show that. And a lot of things that is hitting in our culture is going to be revealed, and I'm not afraid to talk about that. I'm not, you're going to see certain things that I'm talking about with my husband, with my children, being, because we do stay in a community predominantly white. They're going to, my culture is going to see the struggles and what we go through, and, living in a place where now, of course, we're wealthy and we're rich now, but, are we really being accepted? Is my kids, when they go to school, being bullied and different things like that? So I feel like Charnita's world and the show is going to show a lot. And I think people are going to be zoomed in with their popcorn and juice, because it's some, and it's coming soon. It's going to be airing soon. And it's
Yes.
amazing. And I appreciate Melanie definitely for producing this show and believing in
Yeah.
me and Tilted Crown Production and Nubian, because this is huge.
Yeah, I believe so. I know so. I know it's huge. So basically, Shanita's World is just about letting people know that, look, it's not all about the glitz. It's not about how good it looks now.
Mm-mm.
There are understories, there are backstories to these things that,
Yes.
so that's what Shanita's World hopes to, reveal or disclose.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So how can your followers find you? Say social media, email, they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can they find?
Mainly they can follow me on Instagram, Charnita's World. That's CHARNITS World.
Yeah.
And on Facebook, it's still the same, Charnita Horton World. They type in something Charnita and World, it's gonna pop up.
Okay.
Especially, being in the media. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Anywhere I'm
Just use the
sharing
same
my
name, Shanita's
transparency.
World. Right. Okay.
Charnita's World.
Okay. Okay. That's very interesting.
Yes.
So I can say, just to summarize, like to conclude, I can say your story is really nice, and it's not much people that can pull up or serial entrepreneurship like you are doing. So I mean, it's magical if you're asking me. Managing one business is
Thank
a
you.
lot. Managing one business is a lot. So you having
Yes.
multiple and keeping up with them, I mean, that's worthy of
Thank you.
emulation. So I would say viewers can expect something great from Shanita's World, and
Yes.
yeah, don't worry, I'll be the first. I'll be the first to catch up once it's out or once it's on air. So yeah, I think basically we're done with the interview, but
Okay.
yeah, so I want to thank you for making our time for this interview.
Thank you.
And secondly, the article about this interview, I'll make sure, and I'll discuss with the management. So work on it and get it across to you by next week. So further communications will be made by management. Okay. I hope that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes,
So it's
that's
really
great.
nice.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. It's really nice. And to be very honest, I've learned a couple of things too. So thank you, Shanita.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
All right. Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.
Yeah. And